fresh out of a breakup and feeling numb. Hello everyone, after my almost 2-year relationship ended yesterday, I decided to join Reddit. It hurts because I wasn't expecting it, especially after all the effort I've put into being a better spouse. My ex went back and forth between breaking up and passionately telling me how much she loves me and wants us to work out yesterday, just to give her some space since she's unsure and needs to find out how she's failing our relationship. I won't pretend to be flawless. I've made my fair share of errors in the past. However, not only did I accept responsibility, but I also moved heaven and earth to make things better. So at this point, I'm feeling dejected and heartbroken as a person because even when I'm at my best, I'm told it's not enough. I told my ex that I would keep the door open for us, but that I needed time apart to focus on myself, and to only contact me if she is confident I'm the man she wants to be with. Then I walked away. But I'm numb and tuned out, just like a zombie. There are times when I cry, but right now I'm absolutely numb and lost, with no clue how to cope or deal with this. I intended to propose to her in the coming months. I, too, had a date planned. My life seemed to have been flipped upside down. Any tips on how to properly care for myself at this time? Thank you really a lot. Update 1. Leaving after being dumped. Hello, everyone. I just went through a split due to infidelity. This was found on our anniversary, which was the day I had intended to propose. It's only been a week, but I've been on an emotional roller coaster. Was deeply in love with my ex, and as much as I want to be with her, I recognized that I would spend the rest of my life feeling suspicious and uneasy, unable to offer her or myself the love we deserve. So I went away, but not before I apologized to her. I'm not excusing her behavior, but I understand she's been through a lot in her life, and I'm well aware that I'm the kind of person who can never completely recover if I keep a grudge. My only hope for her is that she would utilize this experience to help her develop as a person and cope with her problems. But I'm not sure how to cope with this in a healthy way. Could you kindly provide me some advice? I've gone through breakups before, but nothing like this. Each time, I battled and did everything a person should not do while attempting to move on. I don't care how difficult it is. As long as I can recover and rebuild myself, I'm willing to do it. Update 2. Is it bad for me to care for her? I just split up with my 2-year boyfriend. We were ready to marry, and I had planned to propose on our anniversary, which had just gone. However, I discovered she was cheating on me. The way I found out is something you'd think only occurs in a movie. It was that upsetting. Nonetheless, I opted to depart with love and forgiveness. During these few weeks, even though I'm convinced I can't and won't return to that connection, I'm saddened by the trip she has ahead of her. Instead of caring about myself, I seem to be concerned with how she would deal with her remorse and the repercussions of her actions. Many months ago, she came to me and said that she was flirting with this person. I choose to forgive her and go on since I had a similar experience via text a long time ago. This, I thought, demonstrated a high level of maturity, regret, and respect. What I didn't anticipate was for this occurrence to result in her full-fledged emotional and limited physical adultery. Despite the fact that she did not sleep with him, the months of lies, betrayal, manipulation, and gaslighting have left me absolutely stunned and unable to remain with her. But here I am, worrying about her and the pain she may be through. Do I truly lack this much self-esteem or self-worth to feel sorry for someone who has done this to me? Update 3. I'm not sure whether I should give my ex another opportunity. I'd want to hear some viewpoints. My long-term boyfriend and I just divorced. We were planning to marry, and I was getting ready to pop the question. This is what occurred. She had a male buddy who was obviously interested in her. When she came to me, she said she had been enjoying his text approaches and felt bad, so I urged her to separate herself from him. Under these circumstances, I gave her a chance. We were in a long-distance relationship and saw each other approximately once a month for about a week. She put up with it till he wormed his way back in. The sad thing was that he was friends with her whole family. He was aware of my existence and had been attempting to set me up by creating bogus female accounts to see if I would text back so he could use this as leverage to break us up. It never worked because I refused to participate. This was only revealed to me after the breakup. She hid this information from me. His family is incredibly wealthy, so he would lavish her and her family with gifts and favors. A few months later, he makes a move on her, kisses her, and she kisses back. It was just a single kiss, but she felt horrible and told him she loved him but made a mistake. Soon after, he tells me that they'd been in communication the whole time. He's not doing me a favor since he's a jerk. He believed that by removing me from the picture, she would be his. That was not the case. She's been frantically trying to win me back, but the reality is that she didn't confess to me in the weeks after the incident, lied to me about maintaining the connection with him, and made me feel uneasy when I suspected she was still in contact with him. She did, without a doubt, make some dubious character decisions. Since then, I've acquired as much knowledge on many topics from her. I had no idea they had kissed until she revealed it to me. She claims that up until that point, she had been towing the line and had been carried away by his relentless attention. My concern is, should I cut my losses or give this individual a chance to show herself? I'm too emotionally attached to be impartial about this, and I've been torn between the two possibilities since the relationship ended. Apart from that, she had a number of characteristics that I admired and was, for the most part, highly proactive in the relationship. However, she cheated in this manner, and I'm not sure if she is someone who made a succession of horrible mistakes because she was young, or whether she lacks loyalty and honesty. Update 4. I'd want to express my gratitude to everyone who responded. It offers me a lot to ponder. I feel like I came on here urgently hoping for any way to give her another opportunity. But then I remembered how much pain I'm in right now, and how it should never be the way one feels about love or a relationship. So I've chosen to persevere with the split and spend time apart from her to recover and move on. Thank you once again, everyone. Update 5. When you're terrified of never finding love again. I just went through a horrible breakup after learning that the lady I was about to marry had cheated on me. I was in love with her, and for a while, I wondered, as many people do after a split, whether I would ever meet someone I would love as much as I loved my ex. I came upon something that questioned this notion and gave me tremendous comfort. We don't love individuals because they are unique. They are very precious to us since we adore them. In other words, the love we have for them is ours. They just entered our lives and reawakened it. So, when that love is receptive and ready to be awakened again in the future, it will resurface and you will experience wonderful love with someone else. I hope this helps anybody who is going through the motions of a breakup and is looking for optimism. Update 6. I'm beginning to forgive her, but it comes at a cost. I've written about my breakup, which happened roughly 5 weeks ago. My spouse had cheated on me with a man she said was merely a friend and no longer in her life. I found out about it just before I proposed. It was a harrowing event that I will never forget. My ex has been trying to get me back ever since. I questioned whether I should try again for a time. Then I realized that I couldn't reconcile right now and that I needed to focus on digesting what had transpired. I believed that if I could simply forgive her, I would be able to work on the relationship again. I've begun to forgive her, and we've had many frank chats about everything. But instead of desiring to reconcile, I've had the opposite effect since I began to forgive her. I've lost most, if not all, of my drive to reconcile. I'm not sure whether to feel happy or sorry about this. I simply wanted to reach out and see what advice or insights I might receive from others who have gone through something similar. I'm relieved yet sad since I had hoped to be able to try again if I could forgive her. This was not what I expected. Update 7. I had a bad breakup just under 2 months ago after learning that my girlfriend had cheated on me. I was planned to propose at the time, and we were hoping to be married by the middle of next year. I made the decision to move on, and I'm glad I did. Too much harm has been done, and I am determined to meet someone who shares my principles and values. My inability to remain single has been an issue throughout my life. I've always been interested in relationships, nearly to the point where it's become my identity. This, I believe, contributes to the codependency that arises from these relationships. I'm in my late 20s, and I feel like I need to start learning from my errors and making long-term improvements now. I committed to spend a large amount of time working on myself, but I've spent the previous 2 days online attempting to connect with new ladies. It seems like I'm reverting to old habits, and the worry of being alone and not finding someone special impacts my decisions once again. I'd really appreciate any suggestions on how to guide myself through this period in order to grow comfortable with being alone, making peace with the past, and finding enjoyment in life itself rather than in relationships. Any suggestions for dos and don'ts would be highly appreciated. Update 8. I recognize that ending a 2-year relationship in 2 months is unrealistic. I had communicated with my ex, who had cheated on me many times in the previous month. She may be exhausting at times. I could see she sincerely regrets and is sorry for what she's done. Her mission has been to attempt to help me heal. But a few days ago, I decided to cut off communication since just remaining in touch was too traumatic. It seemed like agony because I was experiencing so many contradicting feelings. I'm more at peace now that I can concentrate only on myself and my recovery. But at the same time, I'm still experiencing all of the mental movies. I'm also constantly saddened by the fact that someone I care deeply about stabbed me in the back to this extent. I've never been very adept at coping with prior trauma. Things that occurred to me as a youngster continue to have an impact on me now. As a result, I have an anxious attachment style and the capacity to attract codependent partners. My objective is to go through all of this and, in some ways, set myself free. Before I even consider going on, I want to recharge and be at peace. But is it natural for me to feel as though I can't bear the thought of being vulnerable with someone again? For example, I feel so violated by the betrayal that I struggle on a daily basis. Any suggestions on how to cope with my trauma would be highly appreciated. Stay tuned for the next updates.